Okay, this is what I'm doing to the water to air intercooler. While I have everything off, I'm having a little fun. I'm wrapping this up because this is really prone to heat soak as it sits underneath the supercharger inside the valley of the engine. So, and it's going to be attacked with heat on both sides because the supercharger is on top here. So the heat from the supercharger itself is going to affect this because this is straight uninsulated aluminum. So that's definitely a heat soak problem there. So as you can see, it's a Garrett cooler. I have it's a Nomex with the reflective radiant heat coating on it, which this was, I mean, they have lots of material like this. This was actually from aircraft rescue firefighting suit that I had back in the day. Anyway, so I have the top part because the supercharger is on top of here, so this is going to be covered. So I'm blanketing this like this, and I'm going to fold it over. It's all common sense, right? I will have this here, and I'll squeeze some zip ties so it's kind of nice and tight. I also have the valley of the engine insulated as well, so it'll be double. Well, it's like layered like 4 or 5 times in there. It's pretty thin soft stuff, so hopefully it will fit. If not, I'll have to take some layers off. But this is going to be like this. It's going to sit in the valley of the engine. Supercharger's going on top. It will be protected. Okay. I had an 80mm throttle body, which obviously this is a snout for the 80. I bored this out nice and smooth. It's as smooth as a baby's ass, but this is bored out to 85mm. This is bored out to about 85mm. 84, 85, and then here is the 82mm throttle body. As you can see, there's a couple millimeters difference. I kind of wanted to step it. I could try to bore this out a little bit, but I don't think it'll make any more power. It will be a perfect seal. This is an adapter plate, which I had to machine this side for it to fit. It's good. I was going to do a total bolt on, but the bolts are so close together from here to from this throttle body. I made a few, and they just kept running into problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld this on. I'm just going to weld the snout on, and I could take this off so you can see it a little better, but you know, obviously I'm just. Boom, there I go. I got nice free flow. It's gonna suck in really good. It's really smooth and polished inside here. It's bored out really big. It's gonna get as much air as possible. That'll help. I don't know how much power I'm gonna get from an 80 to 82. I'm thinking maybe 15 horsepower. I have no idea, maybe more because it does have a lot more boost. So it's definitely going to need to suck more than it would stock. So because this car is about 700 horsepower, which probably be a little more now. So I'm doing all this stuff before I do turbo. If I do the turbo, I just want to see how much power I make from this first. What else do I got going? Oh, to save weight for the summertime, I'm eliminating the stock flat radiator heat exchanger on the front that cools this heat exchanger that cools this intercooler, and then I have the front mount aftermarket heat exchanger, which it's a super big, really high performance, high flow, high heat transfer heat exchanger. It's a really good heat exchanger that goes underneath That's more weight that's going to be eliminated in the summertime, because both those heat exchangers are not necessary with the system I'm going to do. What I am going to do is I'm trying to, which I need to get all the fittings and everything. I have this heat exchanger right here. This heat exchanger is going to, it's kind of small. I may double them up or try to find a bigger one. I think this should work for this unit. But what I'm going to do with this heat exchanger is, well, you know, I have to have AC. So I'm going to use the air conditioner. Freon is going to go in here, and it's going to come out here. And I'm going to have an expansion valve connected on one of these ports, probably the inlet port, so, or the exit port. Either way, I don't think it really matters. So anyway, I'm going to have chemical, the Freon, from my AC system go into here and come out of here. And I'm going to have my water to air cooler lines with probably a little extra amount of antifreeze, as this water is going to probably be close to freezing. It's going to go in here and exit here, or vice versa. So pretty much my AC is going to be cooling this heat exchanger, this box, and this is completely separate than this. So it's going to cool this. The transfer is going to come through here. It's going to come in hot from the cooler. It's going to come out, come back into this cooler. So pretty much, to make a long story short, I am going to eliminate all my front mount intercooler heat exchangers, as it's summertime and they're not that efficient. I live in Arizona. It could get up to 120 out here. You know, 120 degrees is not kosher. You know, I mean, it's just, it's not going to make a lot of power. I want to make power in the summertime. Obviously, I'm going to do water and methanol injection as well. However, I do want to have as cool of charge as possible, and I know I'm going to have the AC on all the time. I mean, it's getting it close to 90 degrees. It's not even past February yet here, so I'm going to have the AC on all the time, so I might as well benefit from having the AC on, and I'll grab that power that the AC is stealing and put it back into the engine, which I'll probably make a lot more power with the AC on now than before with it off, because I'm going to be running really, really, really cool intake temps. That's the goal. So pretty much this is going to be a chemical heat exchanger. It's going to run off my AC, and the AC is going to come through here. It's going to cool this really good. This block I'm going to make really, really insulated too. This is going to be completely insulated as like this. And all the lines I'm going to have insulated. So there's not going to be a lot of transfer through the lines. Like these aluminum lines, there's a lot of transfer that could go through these because these are aluminum. These definitely need to be wrapped. These might be 180 back this way because this is towards the back of the engine and I'm no longer using the front heat exchangers. So instead of making plumbing that goes back here to where this unit is, because I'm thinking this is going to be by the firewall, I might just do a 90 before I put them in. So there's less, I just want as least amount of hoses as possible and as the most insulated possible. So I will have the least amount of hose possible, insulated. I have two really big pumps. I don't need the two pumps anymore because there's going to be less than half of the hose. I'm going to have like less than half the hose that I would before when I had my front mount heat exchangers. Plus, I don't need to be pushing all that water and coolant through. I don't need to be pushing all that through both those heat exchangers anymore, plus all the tubing. So I don't need as much of a flow as far as the pump, the intercooler pump. So that can be minimized a little bit, not too much, but it'll be minimized quite a bit because it's just not necessary to use. I got less plumbing and less heat exchangers, so it doesn't need to work as hard. You don't want them to flow too much because then it will not be as efficient because it'll just won't give it time to get the water cooled through here. So hopefully I don't need to double this up. I think this should be enough. You know, they got the Chiller Killer on market. Those are about $1,000. I got my own little special boxes. I'm not going to quite release where I get these from. However, I could get these for a pretty good price. I just got to work out the kinks and get the ACT fittings. I got to get the little extension valve on one of the inlet or outlets of this. There's already an expansion by my receiver dryer, I believe, on my AC system. Anyway, this is going to be done. This is going to be insulated. I'm going to read my intake ambient temperatures. I guarantee you I'm going to have super, super, super cold intake temperatures. This is going to cool it incredibly. And then this, now that it's not going to be sustained to the engine heat, is just going to be so much more efficient. It's going to be able to stay cool. So we'll just see how much power I can make, and then I'll go from there. If I make a good amount of satisfactory power from this system, the methanol injection, who knows, maybe I won't need the turbo. I mean, your engine can only take in so much boost, you know. So basically, a recap, I got a good big high flow snout. I have a 82 millimeter throttle body. I have my intercooler completely insulated. I have my front mount heat exchangers removed, so I'm saving a good, probably between those two, a good 30 pounds of weight. Maybe even more between those two heat exchangers being gone. I have way less hoses, so don't need quite as... Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, and we'll see what goes on.